Hi everyone, it's Alina here. Welcome to my channel. I'm super excited you guys could join me today. I was recently in Barnes& Noble doing some Christmas shopping for my oldest daughter when I came across this Quick Cards Made Easy magazine that they had on their magazine rack. And this is a great magazine. It has all kinds of tips and tricks, cards that you can make. It even includes this section here of these awesome pattern papers that you can cut apart and use. Now these are not traditional Christmas colors. It's in shades of a soft gray, a light blue, dark blue, white, and a pink. I really love the colors in these papers. It's beautiful. Really love that. But what drew me to this magazine was this awesome free gift that you get when you purchase, and that was this The Night Before Christmas paper pack, which I thought was awesome. So I paid $11.99 plus tax in my local Barnes & Noble, and I was able to get this free pattern paper. And not only did it include this wonderful set of pattern paper, but it also included this cute stamp. Now I have a ton of Santa stamps and reindeer stamps, but I don't have one where it's Santa riding his sleigh with the reindeer. That is one adorable stamp. I can't wait to use this on some gift bags for my daughter's class. And I was thumbing through the magazine the other day when I came across this article featuring these gingerbread house cards. Look at this one. This one is awesome. This one opens up and everything. It even shows you step by step how to create each of the cards that is featured. Here's the last one here. So the wheels in my head started turning, and it definitely inspired me to try my hand at making some gingerbread house cards. Now I was looking through my stash to see what would work well as a gingerbread house, as I was thinking of just freehand drawing it and then doing all the little small details and everything all by hand. But then I went through my stash and I found this stamp from the Two Paper Divas, and this is called the My Neighborhood stamp. Now it has 3 great house images, also has a tree, has a flower box, and this little bush. And I thought this would be a great jumping off point to creating my gingerbread house themed cards. Now I also found a few other stamps in my stash, and this is the Truffle Treats stamp set that I featured a couple days ago, because I used the sentiment right here on some chalkboard tags that I created. But I was thinking these little circles here for these little holly berries, I could use those as little peppermints for the houses and decorate them. Now I did cheat a little bit, and I did cut a 3 by 5.5 inch strip of craft cardstock. Now this is what I'm going to use to stamp my gingerbread houses on. And I'm going to show you. Let me get this stamp set open really quick. I think would work best to stamping these houses onto this craft is Versamark ink. I was thinking of stamping them first in Versamark, then using my Recollections Snow Embossing Powder so that I can get that crisp white outline to sort of mimic the look of royal icing on a gingerbread house. So let's get started. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see exactly what it is I'm doing. Now, I haven't tried this beforehand. This is my first time right now on camera doing this. So I kind of want to line up my houses. It's exactly where I want everything to go. Okay. I'm going to leave a little bit of room because I would like to add a tree somewhere in between. Okay. Now I'm going to get my big stamp block. Let me open up my Versamark ink so that I have everything where I want it. Long stamp press. Going to pick them all up all in one shot and ink them up with my Versamark ink. Try to line up my strip the best way I can. Try to line these guys up exactly where I had them laid out before. Now press down, and there we go. I love stamping with Versamark ink just on craft because I love the look of it. Let me get my little cupcake liner here so I can put my excess powder. Now I'm going to open up my Recollections Snow Embossing Powder. Just going to sprinkle it on there. Try to move it down to the next image. Miss the top there a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to take this little bush stamp. I seem to have misplaced my small acrylic block. So I'm going to stamp it right there in between these two. And I'm going to try to get that tree stamp. Try to stamp it in between these two houses here. And get those covered with embossing powder. And then I can hit it with my heat tool to set everything. Now don't worry if it overlaps a little bit. You're going to see how I'm going to fix that in a minute. Okay. Add my embossing powder. And there we have it, guys. And you see where a part of the roof of the house is sticking into the tree portion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small paintbrush and just brush away that excess embossing powder right there. See that? That was pretty simple and easy, guys. Now let me turn on my heat tool, get this heat set. The trick, guys, is to make sure you get your heat gun hot enough before you take it to your project. This is probably my most favorite part right here, watching the powder change color. go. And it's very striking, the white on the craft background. Let's work on the center house right here, the tall, skinny house here. So what I'm thinking is to color the actual house first. And I think these two colors would actually work because I've used these before in craft, my E97 and E99. So our E97 is our lighter color. Let me bring this down so you guys can see that. There we go. So I'm going to add wherever I think the shadows might be in this house. Unfortunately, I don't eat gingerbread around the holidays. I'm actually allergic. But it's okay. There's plenty of other yummy treats to be had. So I'm just adding my light color. Now I'm going to hit it with my E99 and darken up that lighter color. Then I'm going to blend it all out with my E97. Okay, now I'm going to blend it out with my E97. And I'll bring it up so you guys can see it. Really gives it that gingerbread look. Okay. I'll show it to you really quick, guys. See? Has that gingerbread look and feel to it, doesn't it? Now, wherever I went outside of the lines where it was embossed, I'm just going to hit it with my white gel pen and just touch up wherever. Okay, and there we have it. Okay, now I'm going to fill in the door using the same two color. My E97 is the lightest color. I'm just going to hit where I think the shading and the shadows might be. Okay, darken it up with my E99. And then blend it all out with my E97. There we go. Okay. Okay. I have used this stamp set before. I'll leave the link in the description box below to some housewarming invites that I created using this stamp set over at my blog. You guys can go and check it out. Let's retouch up that white. Okay. Now that we have our house colored in, now it's time to decide how I want my house decorated. Which is probably the toughest part. I think what I will do is use the truffle treats A little holly berry. I think it'd be cool to add like some peppermint candies along the top and the bottom. Now for that, I'm going to use this is an oldie but goodie, my Stampin' Up! Classic stamping pad in ruby red. Okay, let's ink that up. I'm going to try to get 3 on here. Ooh, that looks cool. It's okay if it's not perfectly straight, guys. Remember, this is a gingerbread house. My daughters, we actually got them a gingerbread house for them to decorate. It's cool. Really like how that looks. I think I'll probably add like 1 more up top and maybe 2 on the sides. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Stamp a few more. Okay. That looks awesome. Now, to give it that white outline, like the rest of the house, I'm going to use my white gel pen. This is my Jelly Roll pen. And I'm going to carefully trace over the circles that I stamped. Just to make it stand out just that much more. There we go. Now to give it that peppermint look, and just going to add a couple of stripes. See that? I'm going to do that for all of my peppermint candies. Now all I'm doing, guys, is doing little triangles going in different directions. See that? Okay. To give it that peppermint look. And that's one of the best things about holidays. It's not only getting to spend the time with your family and friends, but for me, it's all the yummy treats. Okay. Now, thinking what I could do, I'm going to add some icing here, or the look of icing on the windowsills. I'm going to fill that in. Now I think I'm going to add some to the roof line. And then just fill it in with my gel pen. Looks yummy enough to eat, guys. There we go. And that is starting to look like a gingerbread house already. Now, for the bottom of the house, I think it'd be nice to do like some decorative scrolls here. To give it that gingerbread look. So what I'm doing is sort of a backwards S shape to create my little scrolls there. Okay. For the door, I don't know about you guys, but this kind of reminds me of those little gummy candies, little orange slices. That's what they're called, I think. Fill in the whole entire thing. Just cover up that embossing powder. Wow, it's just like an orange slice. It's awesome. And this is my orange peel stickles that I use for that. Thinking would be a good idea for the roof of that house to give it that look of gumdrops. Think if I add dots of my Christmas red stickles and my lime green stickles. Let's see how that'll work. Just gonna add dots of this. Let me test it out first. Okay, there we go. Now I just want to add dots. Let's try to add a few of the red first before I go in with the green. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the red dry before I go in with my green because I don't want them to mix. There we go. Little gumdrops. I think I'm going to add a little more of that red to the doorknob section here. I'm going to try to squeeze it out. Don't want to squeeze it too much. Okay, there we go. Okay, and for the door, I think I'm going to just add some more of these flourishes or swirls. Okay. It's okay if it's not all the same size, guys. Okay. I'm going to add some dots here along the top. And I'll add some dots to the door as well. There we go. That's our first house pretty much complete. Once these red stickles dry, I will add my lime green stickles in between. Let those dry as well. Now let's move on to this house right here. Okay. Now let's see. Oh, I almost forgot something, guys. The inside of the windows. I did not color those in. I'm just going to hit it with my R27 Copic marker. Bring this down a little bit so you guys can see better. Want to give it the look of candy. Gingerbread competitions on like the Food Network, that they always melt down candy and then use it to fill in the windows of the gingerbread houses, and then they add like a tea light to the inside, and it makes it look beautiful. Gives it such a nice soft glow. Here we are. Yay, that's one house done. Now let's move on to this one. First things first, we have to color the house using our E97, E99 marker. So let's do that first. Okay, I think start off with the roof line. On my lightest color first. And then I'm going to go in with my E99 and darken it up. Try to bring that color down a bit. Now I'm blend it all out with my E97. Okay, I'm going to use the E97 again and just add wherever we think the shading may be on this house. I'm trying to hold it down. Let me get my stamp block to hold my panel down. Definitely don't want to touch the roof of this house with all the stickles still wet on there. Now we'll definitely make sure to leave links to the Divas store where you can purchase these stamp sets that I'm using today, guys. Just a quick little note, they're actually having a design team call, and all the details will be on their blog. So if you want to be a part of a awesome design team, get all the newest stamps that they release, you should definitely check out their blog and see what the requirements are. Gayla and Melissa, they are a great bunch of girls, and I have thoroughly enjoyed being a part of their team. They're both so very creative. So I will definitely leave a link to their blog as well, and the design team call, so you guys can check it out. Okay, blending it out with my E97. Okay, just trying to get this chimney colored in, guys. I really love this color combo of this E97 and E99 for a gingerbread house. Like, this is really gives it that look. You can certainly go in with any of your other E markers. Okay. Alright, now we have this house colored in. Alright, now let's do this one here. I gotta make sure I go over those embossed lines with my white gel pen. Okay. Okay, just gonna hit it with my E97 and blend it out. Okay. Now, let me go back over these white embossed lines. Okay, now for this one, I think I'm going to do pretty much same pattern that I did with this one, and do like the drips of icing coming down using the white gel pen. There we go. Really like how that looks. And I'll do some here as well. You could also do shutters, but I kind of want to keep this as pretty straightforward and simple as I can, but you can certainly go the extra mile. And add your own little touches here and there. You can even add your, you know what else would have worked was those small flat back pearls, the white ones, because you can pretty much color them with your Copics. It takes color beautifully. Now I think I want to do sort of like that swirl flourishy pattern. Mimic that look over here. Okay. Now I think I'm going to do the icing along the edge of the roof as well. I really like how that turned out on this one here. All I'm doing is like wavy lines and having it dip every so often. And I'm just going to fill in my white gel pen. Okay, going to do it again on this side and this roof here. And that's all I'm doing, guys, is wavy lines and having it dip to create the look of longer drips. Okay, that's good right there. Now, before I forget, not like I did with the first house, let's color in the inside of the windows before I forget. My R27 marker. Guess I'll do that same polka dot pattern on the door. There we go. I think I'll do another flourish up here. And I think I'll do one in between the windows here. Okay. Now for this one, I think I'm going to add the Stickles right along the roof edge here. Not so much on top, but right here. That little roof ledge right there. Okay. And I think I want to do green this time. Start off with my green, my lime green Stickles. Okay. Really gives it the look of gumdrops. And you know, gumdrops have sort of that glittery look to them. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to go in between the green with the red, the Christmas red Stickles. Now, what to do about these windows here? See how they're circular? Sort of look like attic windows. I think what I'm going to do for these windows here is just fill them in with my Christmas red Stickles. There we go. So I definitely want to let that dry before I do anything else. But let me bring this up so you guys can see how our gingerbread houses are coming together. Now the next house we need to work on is this one on the left here. So I'm going to move my stamp block over to hold down my panel. And the first thing we need to do is to color in the house using our E97 and E99 marker. So I'm going to add my E97 to where I think the shadows might be on this house. Okay. And darken those up with my E99 marker. And blend it all out with my E97. Now I'm going to add some shading with my E97 to this little attic here. Okay. As we'll jump over this to this chimney while we're doing the upper part of the house. Okay. I must say, guys, Christmas is definitely my favorite time of year. I'm sure that it is for many of you. My daughters and I have been binge watching all of our favorite holiday movies. That's one of our most favorite things to do around this time of year. My all-time favorite Christmas movie would have to be It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you what I did with this house right here. I finished off the coloring. Then I used my R27 Copic marker to fill in the windows. And then I did go in with my lime green Stickles on this house right here and added some gumdrops along the roof line. And then I added some Christmas red Stickles to this house here to give it the look of red gumdrops. And then I used my little circle stamp from the Truffle Treats stamp set. Use this Stampin' Up! Glorious Green ink pad to stamp some little spearmint candies on this house here. Just wanted to change it up a bit. Then I added some more of my little swirl flourishes here. This is what I did off camera. So now it's time for us to figure out what kind of decoration I want to do for this house here. I have a couple ideas in my head of how I want this particular house to look. Okay, let's go in with the white gel pen and add some of the drippy icing look. Hope you guys can see that, okay? And then I'll add it to the bottom of these windows here. Okay. There we are. Kind of like the way that looks there. I think what I'll do is add some of that icing look to the very top of the roof here. Just going to jump right in and go for it. And I'm just doing wavy lines. There we go. I'm going to fill it in now with my white gel pen. Okay. And I think I'll add a little bit to the chimney along the top and just have it drip down a little bit. So there we go. Then I think what I'll do is I'm going to start off with my Christmas red Stickles. I'm going to add some dots along the roof edge here, making sure to leave a big enough space so I can fill it in with my lime green Stickles. Okay, gotta make sure I let that dry before I do anything else. Okay. Now, I think for the door frame here, I think I'm going to turn that into peppermint stick candies. And draw this up a little bit. And then cross it there. Then I'm going to start filling in my stripes for my peppermint candy. Do this on the side, both sides, and also on the top. That'll give us that look there. Now I'm going to take my R27 marker and fill in all the red spots, or stripes rather, on this candy cane peppermint stick. There we go. And I think for this one I'm just going to add a couple more touches. So what I'm going to do is do my little swirl flourish here, like I've done with these other two houses. Do it here along the bottom. This time I'm going to make a big S. This large holly berry stamp. Now hold that down and just stamp a couple of the peppermints here and there. Wherever I see it will fit. Fit about 3. Fit another one there. Go. I'm going to use my white gel pen. Go over those embossing lines. I'm going to go in and outline these. My stamp block over here so it's not in the way. Okay, there's one. That's 2. And here's the final one right here, guys. Now I'm going to do the same design for the door as I did with the other two houses, which is just adding some polka dots to the front of the door. Let's go with our lime green Stickles and just fill in that doorknob. And I think that just about does it for that house. Now I'll wait till the Christmas red Stickles dry before I go back in with my lime green Stickles to add some green gumdrops in between. Now that we got our houses just about finished, going to work on this tree right here. I'm going to go back to our E97 and E99 markers for that. Get this tree colored in. And I'm going to blend it out with my E97 marker. Let's color the trunk. And here's the completed card, guys. I think it turned out pretty cool. I went in and stamped the Holiday Wishes stamp set from the Truffle Treats. And here's the completed card, guys. I think it turned out pretty cool. I used the Holiday Wishes sentiment from the Truffle Treats stamp set and stamped it in my Versamark. Used my Recollections white embossing powder and then heat set that. And then before I mounted the image panel to the card base, I wrapped some green and white baker's twine a few times. And then I opted not to use for the image panel. It made the card look a little too bulky for my taste. I just directly adhere to using my tape runner. And then I did round off my corners here using a Martha Stewart corner rounder punch. And I think it looks pretty cool. So I will make sure to leave all the links to the Two Paper Divas store, where you can find the My Neighborhood and Truffle Treat stamp sets that I used today. And I will also leave a link to their design team call as well. And I will also make sure to leave a link to my blog posts where I made some housewarming invites using the same stamp set. I want to thank you guys for I want to thank you guys for sticking through this long tutorial with me, guys. I wanted to make sure I want to thank you guys for sticking through this long tutorial with me. Please give this video a thumbs up and please feel free to subscribe for more videos. And I will check you guys later. Peace. Now I'm going to go back with my white gel pen and go back over these embossed lines. Okay. So I got the tree colored in. I'm going to just jump right over to the bush and get that one colored in as well. Okay, that one is done. Now I think I'm just going to go back in with my Christmas red stickles and just add little berries to our bush and our tree, just in random spots here and there. Just add a few to this bush. Okay, we'll wrap it up so you guys can see it up close. There we go. And our little gingerbread village is complete. Here, let me bring it up for you guys. There we go. Now, all that's left for me to do is to add my lime green stickles in between my red ones here on this house on the left. But I want to set my panel aside and give it time to dry. And our little Christmas village houses are done. What I'll probably do off camera is add some glossy accents to my peppermint candies and to the windows on all three houses. When I get back, I'll show you guys how I'm going to finish this panel off, and then we'll put a card together. Okay guys, I just want to share with you really quickly what I did off camera, and that was I cut a piece of white cardstock to 5.5 by 5.5 inches. Then I cut a piece of this red and white pattern paper here from the Night Before Christmas paper pack that I received free. And then I cut 2 strips of white cardstock at 1 inch by 5.5 inches. And then I cut 2 white strips at 1 inch by 5.5 inches. And then I used my apron lace border punch from Fiskars. This is probably one of my favorite border punches. And I just punched this decorative border on both strips, and then I added them with my tape runner to the top and bottom of my gingerbread house image panel. Now I'm going to mount it on the card like so. But what I think I'm going to do is pop it up using some pop dots. Before I do that, I kind of want to finish this gingerbread panel off. And the way I'm going to do that, let me zoom in a little bit guys, is by taking my white gel pen again, my Jelly Roll pen, and adding some more of that icing detail that I added along the roofs of each of the houses. Just going to add it along the top. I think that'll finish it off. And then all I have to do is just stamp the sentiment. And for that, I think I'm going to use the truffle treats and use the stamp set and use the holiday wishes greeting that's in there. Now I'm doing wavy lines. I can go back in and fill in with my Jelly Roll pen. I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can. Oh, and I also added stickles to each of the peppermint candies on the houses and to the windows as well. I'll bring that up so you guys can see. And then here is the, there we go. Here is the glossy accent on the windows and on the peppermint candies. Okay, let me turn this upside down so I can just quickly fill this in. Okay, there we go. And I think it might be a good idea for me to fill in the ground here along the bottom so that my houses aren't floating in mid-air. And do that really quick as well. And I think I might add like a little path here in front of each of the houses. Okay, let's bring that down so you guys can see better. There we go. Okay. And just color in the pathway before I forget. Okay. And I think I'll use my diamond stickles along the bottom to add a little glittery touch. There we are. Just gotta let that dry a little bit. Now I need to stamp my sentiment. And I think this Holiday Wishes sentiment from the Truffle Treat stamp set would work well. Stamp there, okay. Thinking it might be a good idea to add some little dots of the diamond stickles to give it the appearance of snow. I'm just going to add a couple dots. And I think I'm going to hold off on stamping the sentiment up until this is dry. Oops. Just dotting the stickles along in sort of a random pattern. Randomly, I mean. Just dotting the stickles randomly. Okay, I'm going to have to remove one of these so that I can fit my sentiment on there. Take my hokey tool, remove some of the stickles placed there accidentally. I still had to stamp my sentiment. Let's see. That'll give me enough room. Yep, that's good. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to set the panel aside to dry. And then when I come back, I'll show you the finished card. And here's the completed card, guys. I think it turned out pretty cool. I used the Holiday Wishes sentiment from the Truffle Treats stamp set and stamped it in my Versamark. Used my Recollections white embossing powder and then heat set that. And then before I mounted the image panel to the card base, I wrapped some green and white baker's twine a few times. And then I opted not to use for the image panel. It made the card look a little too bulky for my taste. I just directly adhere to using my tape runner. And then I did round off my corners here using a Martha Stewart corner rounder punch. And I think it looks pretty cool. So I will make sure to leave all the links to the Two Paper Divas store, where you can find the My Neighborhood and Truffle Treat stamp sets that I used today. And I will also leave a link to their design team call as well. And I will also make sure to leave a link to my blog posts where I made some housewarming invites using the same stamp set. I want to thank you guys for sticking through this long tutorial with me. Please give this video a thumbs up and please feel free to subscribe for more videos. And I will check you guys later. Peace.